Myra stepped carefully onto the rocky surface of the alien planet. The ground was uneven, glowing faintly under her boots. Strange plants with crystal-like leaves swayed in a wind that didn't feel like the air back on Earth. She looked around in wonder, her heart racing with excitement and fear. "This is incredible," she whispered to herself. "No one has ever been this far." Beside her, Rohan adjusted his helmet, scanning the horizon with sharp eyes. "Keep your eyes open," he said. "We don't know what's out here." Myra nodded, gripping the small bag of supplies she carried. She had trained for years for moments like this, but nothing could prepare her for the reality of walking on a new world. Every sound, every shadow seemed alive. They had come here after receiving a faint signal from a deep space probe. Scientists on Earth had assumed the signal was random, but Myra and Rohan had insisted it was intelligent. Now, standing here, they understood the planet was not only alive but filled with mysteries. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the air. Myra froze. "Do you hear that?" she asked. Rohan nodded. "It's coming from over there." He pointed to a shimmering valley that stretched into the distance. The hum grew louder as they approached. It sounded like wind, music, and something deeper all at once. As they entered the valley, they saw figures moving among the crystal trees. The figures were unlike any creatures Myra had seen. They had tall, slender bodies, and their skin reflected the colors of the surroundings. Their eyes were large, shining like polished stones. "Hello," Myra called out. Her voice sounded small against the vast, humming valley. The creatures paused. Then one of them stepped forward. Its voice was soft but clear, like a song. "Humans," it said. "You are far from home." Myra swallowed hard. "Yes. We followed a signal. We didn't know anyone lived here." The creature tilted its head. "We live in harmony with this world. Few outsiders arrive. Your kind, you survive in harsh places. That is rare." Rohan stepped beside Myra. "Survive?" he asked. "We've trained for survival, but this planet is extreme. How do you know we can last?" The creature's eyes glowed brighter. "Humans carry a strength within them. Not just strength of body, but of spirit. You adapt. You endure. You change when the world challenges you. That is why you have arrived here." Myra felt a strange warmth in her chest. She had always believed humans were resilient, but hearing it from an alien being made her proud and cautious at the same time. One of the smaller creatures approached Myra. It reached out with a delicate hand and touched her arm. She felt a pulse of energy, not painful but invigorating. She staggered slightly but smiled. "This is amazing," she said. You're showing us something." The creature nodded. "Yes. We sense the potential in your kind. Many humans stop at limits, but you may go beyond them." Rohan frowned. "Limits? Are we in danger?" The tall creature shook its head. "No. But you will need to learn quickly. Your world is small. The universe tests all who venture far. We can teach you, if you wish." Myra glanced at Rohan. He gave a small shrug, a mixture of excitement and worry. She nodded slowly. "Yes. We want to learn. We want to survive here and understand your world." The creatures moved aside, revealing a narrow path leading deeper into the valley. Strange plants lined the way, their glow pulsing like heartbeat. Myra felt a rush of anticipation. As they walked, Myra realized the air itself seemed to change around them. She felt lighter, stronger. Her senses sharpened. Colors became brighter, sounds clearer. The creatures moved in rhythm with her steps, almost as if the world itself was acknowledging her presence. Rohan looked at her. "Do you feel that?" Myra nodded. "Yes. It's like the planet is alive, and it's aware of us. A shadow passed overhead, and both turned to see a massive creature soaring above. Its wings glimmered with a rainbow sheen. Myra's eyes widened. That's incredible. The tall creature beside them smiled. All life here is connected. The stronger your spirit, the more the planet shares with you. Humans have this gift, though few know it. You will learn to use it. Hours passed, but it felt like minutes. Myra and Rohan explored the valley, discovering plants that could heal, waters that seemed to energize, and sounds that calmed the mind. Everywhere they looked, the world offered lessons. By evening, the sky turned a deep violet, and stars appeared in patterns Myra had never seen. The creatures guided them to a resting area, built from crystal structures that shimmered like water in sunlight. Rest here, the tall creature said. Tomorrow, your training begins. You will need all your strength and courage. This world tests those who arrive, and only those who embrace their limits will grow beyond them. Myra lay down, staring at the sky. Her mind raced with questions, excitement, and a hint of fear. She had dreamed of exploring space, but now she realized the universe was bigger, stranger, and more beautiful than she had ever imagined. Rohan sat beside her, silent for a moment. Then he said softly, I think, humans really do have a hidden strength. I just didn't realize how far it could take us. Myra smiled faintly. We're about to find out. Above them, the stars shimmered like the eyes of the creatures they had met. And somewhere deep inside, Myra felt a pulse of determination. She had survived Earth, survived training, and now she would survive this world. More than that, she would grow stronger. Tomorrow, the real journey would begin. The first light of the alien sun filtered through the crystal trees, casting colors that danced across Myra's face. She woke slowly, feeling a strange energy flowing through her limbs. Every movement felt sharper, stronger. She blinked at Rohan, who was already sitting, staring at the glowing horizon. Morning, he said quietly. You feel it too? Myra nodded. Yes. It's like the planet itself is giving us strength. Before they could speak further, the tall creature from the valley appeared. It is time, it said. Its voice carried a calm authority, but beneath it, there was warmth. Your training begins today. You must learn to use what you carry inside. Humans have the power to adapt and endure. Here, that power will grow. Myra and Rohan exchanged glances, a mix of excitement and nervousness. They had prepared for physical challenges, but nothing in their training on Earth could match what awaited them here. The creature led them deeper into the valley, to a clearing surrounded by high crystal walls. The sunlight bent through the crystals, creating moving patterns of light on the ground. At the center of the clearing, there were strange stones arranged in a circle. Step into the circle, the creature instructed. Close your eyes and focus on your body. Let your spirit guide you. Myra hesitated for a moment, then stepped in. She felt a strange warmth under her feet. Slowly, she closed her eyes and breathed deeply. At first, everything felt ordinary. Then, little by little, she felt the pulse of the planet, the soft rhythm of life in the rocks, the trees, and even the air itself. Rohan stepped in beside her. He frowned at first, as if he could not understand what he was feeling. But soon, a subtle smile appeared. I can feel it too, he whispered. The tall creature nodded. Good. Now, reach beyond yourself. Humans are resilient because you can push past fear, doubt, and pain. Here, you must push past limits you have never faced. Suddenly, Myra felt a shift. Her muscles tensed, but not in pain. It was as if her body remembered every skill she had learned, every obstacle she had faced. She could feel her reflexes sharpening, her senses stretching. The sounds of the valley became more distinct, the hum of the plants, the subtle movements of the small creatures hiding among the crystals. Move, the creature said. Feel. Respond. Adapt. Myra took a small step forward, then another. Each step seemed effortless, yet she could feel the power in her legs. She darted to the side as a branch-like plant suddenly reached toward her. It was slow, almost gentle, but she sensed the danger and moved before it could touch her. Rohan followed, his movements smooth and precise. "This is incredible," he said. "I can sense what's coming before it happens." The creatures watched silently, their glowing eyes calm. "Humans have the ability to learn quickly," the tall one said. "Your survival instincts are strong. Now you must learn control. Power without control is dangerous, even to yourself." For hours, Myra and Rohan trained. They ran through the crystal-clear streams, jumped over glowing rocks, and practiced sensing life around them. Sometimes the exercises were simple walking blindfolded through the crystal trees, listening to the hum of the planet. Other times, they faced sudden challenges, like the plants that tried to block their path or the swift shadow of the flying creatures above. Myra noticed something strange. The more she focused, the more she could see small details that escaped her before. Tiny movements in the plants, subtle shifts in the air, the faint trail of life left by creatures moving nearby. It was as if the planet itself was teaching her how to understand it. By the afternoon, the tall creature called them to a wider area. Here, the ground dipped into a shallow canyon. From the top, Myra could see strange shapes moving below rocks that seemed alive, slowly shifting and changing. "Your challenge is simple," the creature said. "Move through the canyon without touching the rocks. Let your senses guide you. Trust your instincts. Trust yourself." Myra felt her heart beat faster. The rocks looked impossible to cross. But she remembered the lessons of the day, the power within her, the energy of the planet, the guidance of the creatures. She took a deep breath and stepped forward. At first, she stumbled, barely avoiding a shifting rock. Then she paused, closed her eyes, and focused. She could feel the vibrations under her feet, the small currents in the air, the way the rocks moved. Slowly, she began to move with confidence, her steps precise and sure. Rohan followed, his face focused but calm. "This feels like flying," he whispered, as he stepped across the moving stones with ease. By evening, they had both crossed the canyon. The tall creature nodded. "Well done. You are learning faster than expected. Humans have the power to grow in ways others cannot imagine. But this is only the beginning. Tomorrow, you will face greater tests. Not of strength, but of courage." Myra and Rohan settled near the crystal structures to rest. Myra's mind was buzzing with thoughts. She had always known humans were resilient, but experiencing it on this alien planet, feeling the energy of the world itself, made her realize they were capable of much more than survival. Rohan looked at her. "Do you think we're ready for whatever comes next?" Myra smiled faintly. "We don't know yet. But we're starting to understand. And I think, humans can handle far more than anyone expects." Above them, the sky darkened to a deep violet, and stars blinked to life. The creatures floated silently among the glowing plants, watching over the two humans. Myra felt a quiet determination grow inside her. She had survived Earth, trained for extreme conditions, and now she was beginning to master the power that humans carried within. The planet seemed to hum around her, as if encouraging her. She closed her eyes and whispered, "I'm ready." Rohan nodded beside her, and together, they looked at the alien sky, knowing that tomorrow would bring challenges that would test everything they had learned. And somewhere deep inside, Myra felt the first true spark of confidence. The universe was vast, strange, and sometimes dangerous, but humans could rise to meet it. The sun rose slowly over the crystal valley, casting long, shifting shadows across the glowing terrain. Myra stretched her arms, feeling the energy of the planet coursing through her body. Today, she knew, would be different. The tall creature appeared before them, floating slightly above the ground. Today, you face your first real trial, it said. You have learned to sense the world and adapt. Now, you must test your courage, your speed, and your mind. The challenges will be unpredictable. Trust yourself, trust each other. Rohan looked at Myra with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Do you think we can do it? He asked quietly. Myra smiled, determination in her eyes. We have to. There's no other choice. The creature led them to a deep ravine, its sides covered with glowing vines and rocks that shifted with the faintest movement. Across the ravine, the path continued, but it was narrow and uneven, with strange energy pulses flickering along the way. This is your first trial, the creature explained. The ravine changes as you move. You must reach the other side without hesitation. If you lose focus, the ground may betray you. If fear takes hold, the path may vanish. Myra's heart pounded. She had crossed moving rocks before, but nothing like this. The ravine seemed alive, almost aware of their presence. She looked at Rohan, who was scanning the path with sharp eyes. Ready? She asked. Rohan nodded. Let's go. They stepped onto the first stone, and immediately the path shifted slightly beneath their feet. Myra froze for a split second but remembered the lessons of the past day's focus, adaptation, trust. She adjusted her balance and stepped forward. The stones continued to shift unpredictably. Some sank slowly, others tilted sharply. The glowing vines moved like living fingers, brushing against their legs as if testing them. Myra's senses sharpened further, she could feel subtle vibrations in the stones and air, predicting their movements before they happened. Rohan moved beside her, quick and precise. This is incredible, he whispered. I feel every movement in the stones before it happens. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the ravine, stronger than any breeze they had felt before. Myra's balance wavered, but she caught herself, planting her feet firmly. She focused, letting her body move instinctively. Every jump, every step, every bend of her knees felt perfect. Halfway across, the stones beneath them shifted faster, and a section of the path disappeared entirely. Myra froze for a moment, fear creeping in. But then she remembered the words of the creature, trust yourself, trust each other. She looked at Rohan, who was already analyzing the gap. We can do this, he said, eyes bright. Follow my lead. With careful timing, they leapt together, landing on the next solid stone. Myra's heart raced, but a thrill of excitement ran through her. She realized this was more than a trial, it was a lesson in trusting her instincts, in knowing that humans could face the unknown and survive. The ravine seemed to test them further. Rocks rose from the ground, vines twisted around their path, and strange glowing creatures appeared, moving quickly, as if trying to block their progress. Myra and Rohan responded instinctively, leaping, dodging, and running. Their minds and bodies moved in harmony with the world around them. At one point, Myra felt a stone shift beneath her foot more violently than before. She almost lost her balance, but she concentrated, feeling the subtle energy of the planet beneath her. The stone steadied, and she took the next step with confidence. Rohan glanced at her. You're doing amazing, he said. I can't believe how fast we're learning. They finally reached the far side of the ravine, breathing heavily but smiling. The tall creature appeared again, its eyes glowing softly. Well done, it said. You have passed the first trial. But this is only the beginning. Trials will grow harder. You will face fear, hunger, fatigue, and choice. Each test will teach you something essential about your species. Myra and Rohan nodded, still catching their breath. Myra felt a strange mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. She realized that humans were not just survivors, they were learners, adapters, fighters of impossible odds. The creature led them to a nearby crystal plateau, where a small pool of water shimmered with colors that shifted like liquid rainbows. "Rest now," it said. "Drink and recover. You will need your strength for what comes next." Myra knelt by the pool, cupping the glowing water in her hands. She drank slowly, feeling warmth spread through her body, healing fatigue and sharpening her mind. Rohan did the same, then turned to her with a grin. "I think this planet wants to help us grow, not just test us." Myra smiled faintly. "Yes. But it wants to see what we're capable of first." As they rested, Myra noticed shadows moving along the edge of the plateau. Small creatures, almost invisible at first, were watching them with curious eyes. Myra felt no fear. Instead, she felt a connection to everything around her: the rocks, the plants, the air, the water. Humans were not alone in their ability to adapt. The planet itself was a teacher, guiding them to discover their full potential. Evening came, and the twin suns of the alien world dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink, orange, and purple. Myra and Rohan sat together, sharing quiet thoughts. "Do you think other humans could do this?" Rohan asked. Myra considered the question. "Some could. Some wouldn't survive. But I think humans can surprise even themselves. We have courage and creativity that nothing else matches. And when we face something impossible, we find a way to keep going." Rohan nodded slowly, staring at the horizon. "I feel like we're just scratching the surface of what humans can do." Myra smiled, her mind already racing with the possibilities. Tomorrow would bring a new trial, one that would test not only their bodies but their minds, their courage, and their hearts. And she knew, deep inside, that humans were ready to rise to the challenge. The stars appeared above, brighter and more vivid than any on Earth. The glowing valley hummed softly in the night, a lullaby of encouragement and strength. Myra felt her pulse steady, her spirit calm and focused. The first trial was behind them, but the journey had only begun. Humans had survived, adapted, and grown. And in this alien world, their true potential was beginning to shine. The morning sun broke through the crystal canopy, scattering light across the valley. Myra stretched, feeling the renewed strength from the previous day. The trials had begun to change her not just physically, but mentally. She noticed new clarity in her thoughts, sharper instincts, and an unusual calm in her heart. Rohan joined her, carrying a small satchel with supplies. "Are you ready for today?" he asked. Myra nodded. "I think so. But I feel something different. Today's trial won't be just about moving or jumping. I think it's going to test our minds." Before she could say more, the tall creature appeared. "Today's challenge is the mind maze," it said. "Your bodies are strong, but your minds must be stronger. You will face illusions, puzzles, and choices. You will need focus, courage, and human ingenuity to succeed." Rohan frowned. "Illusions. Puzzles. Sounds tricky." Myra's eyes gleamed. "Then it's perfect. Humans are good at thinking and solving problems. We can handle it." The creature led them to a wide, circular area surrounded by smooth, reflective walls of crystal. As they stepped inside, the air shifted, almost humming in a different rhythm. A soft light appeared in the center, forming a doorway that led into a twisting corridor. "Enter," the creature instructed. "Once inside, you will face visions. Some will tempt, some will frighten. You must see through them and find the truth. Your task is simple: reach the center of the maze. But the path is not easy. Trust yourselves and each other." Myra and Rohan exchanged a glance, then stepped through the doorway. Immediately, the walls shifted around them, forming twisting corridors that seemed to extend infinitely. Light and shadow danced across the surfaces, creating shapes that appeared alive. "Stay together," Myra whispered. "Don't get distracted." The corridors began to change. Myra saw a vision of Earth, a peaceful city with friends and family. She felt a strong pull to turn back, to leave the maze and return to safety. But she focused, remembering the words of the tall creature, "Trust yourselves. Face the challenge." Rohan noticed her hesitation. "We can't let it trick us. Keep moving forward." As they walked, the walls formed illusions of dangerous creatures with sharp teeth, massive drops, and shifting floors. Myra felt her heart pound, but she remembered the energy of the planet, the lessons from yesterday. She took a deep breath, observing the illusions carefully. "These aren't real," she said. "We have to see them for what they are and keep going." Rohan nodded, his eyes scanning every detail. "Focus on what we know. Nothing can stop humans if we think clearly and act together." They moved cautiously, using their senses to detect which parts of the path were real. Occasionally, a floor tile shifted under them, but they adjusted quickly, jumping or stepping aside. Every step required observation, timing, and trust in their instincts. Suddenly, the maze created a vision of themselves, but weaker and afraid. Myra saw a version of Rohan hesitating, frozen by fear. She felt a tug at her heart. "That's not real," she said firmly. "That's a trick. Rohan, focus on us, not them." Rohan blinked, then nodded. "You're right. It's only a vision. We decide our path." The corridors shifted again, and now they faced a puzzle of glowing crystals blocking the way. The crystals pulsed in different rhythms. Myra touched one carefully, noticing that certain sequences made the path open. She remembered patterns they had seen in the valley and realized the puzzle required both observation and logic. "Try this sequence," she said. "Follow the rhythm, not the color." Rohan mimicked her movements, stepping on crystals in the correct order. Slowly, a path opened through the maze. They moved quickly, their confidence growing with each success. Hours seemed to pass, though it was hard to tell inside the maze. The challenges grew harder, testing their patience, teamwork, and courage. The illusions tried to separate them, creating false doors and disappearing floors. But each time, Myra and Rohan used their human ingenuity to see through the deception. Finally, they reached a central chamber. The walls shimmered with a bright, golden light. In the center, a pedestal rose, glowing with a soft energy. Myra approached it carefully, feeling the power of the planet flowing through her. The tall creature appeared in the chamber, though it had not entered the maze physically. "Congratulations," it said. "You have passed the mind maze. Humans possess the ability to think, adapt, and remain strong even when faced with confusion and fear. Your minds are as powerful as your bodies. Few beings can achieve what you have done today." Myra smiled, her heart pounding with pride. Rohan exhaled, leaning against the pedestal. "That was intense," he said. "I've never felt anything like it. It's like the maze was alive." "It was alive," Myra replied. "But we made it through. Humans can do more than we think, especially when we trust ourselves and each other." The tall creature nodded. "Your trial is not yet complete. You must also understand what you learned. Humans have curiosity, courage, and creativity. You do not give up when confronted with uncertainty. You face it, analyze it, and find solutions. That is why your species can survive and thrive, even in worlds like this." Myra felt a surge of pride. She thought of Earth, of all the challenges humans had faced, and realized that they were not just survivors, they were explorers, thinkers, and innovators. Rohan looked at her, his expression reflecting the same realization. As they left the mind maze, the corridors and illusions dissolved behind them, leaving only the glowing valley. The sun had begun to set, painting the sky in shades of violet and orange. Myra felt a calm satisfaction wash over her. The maze had tested their minds, but they had grown stronger because of it. Tomorrow, Myra said, looking at the horizon, we will face something new. But I think we're ready. We've learned to trust our minds, our instincts, and each other. Rohan nodded, smiling. Humans are tougher than even we thought. I'm proud of what we've done. The tall creature watched silently, its glow reflecting the fading sunlight. Myra felt its approval like a gentle warmth, encouraging her for the challenges yet to come. The stars began to appear, bright against the alien sky. The valley hummed softly, a reminder that the world was alive, aware, and guiding them. Myra and Rohan sat quietly, feeling the energy of the planet and their own growing potential. Humans had passed their second trial. Their minds had been tested, and they had proven that courage, logic, and teamwork could overcome even the most confusing challenges. Myra closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. She knew that the next trials would test more than just strength or intelligence, they would test the heart. And she was ready. Tomorrow, the true measure of human courage would begin. Morning arrived with a soft glow, spreading across the valley in warm tones of amber and violet. Myra awoke with a sense of purpose. Yesterday's mind maze had tested their intelligence and focus, but she knew that today, the challenge would test something deeper: courage. Rohan was already awake, stretching beside the crystal structures. You ready? He asked, his voice calm but determined. Myra nodded. I think we are. Whatever comes, we face it together. The tall creature appeared before them, hovering slightly above the ground. Today, you face the trial of courage, it said. You have trained your bodies and your minds. Now, you must confront fear directly. The trial will place you in situations where instinct, trust, and bravery will determine survival. Myra's heart raced. Courage had many forms. Sometimes it meant fighting, sometimes it meant staying calm in danger, sometimes it meant taking a difficult decision under pressure. She tightened her grip on her satchel and followed the creature. The path led them to a wide canyon, deeper and more jagged than the last. Strange lights flickered along the edges, and shadows moved unpredictably. In the center, a massive stone platform hovered over a dark abyss. This is where the trial begins, the creature said. You must cross the platform. But the path will shift. You may face sudden gaps, illusions of danger, or visions meant to frighten you. You will need courage to continue. Rohan glanced at Myra. We can do this. Remember, we trust each other. Myra nodded. Yes. Step by step, together. They stepped onto the platform. Immediately, the surface shifted beneath their feet. Sections moved like waves, and glowing cracks appeared, suggesting gaps that might not exist. Myra felt a flash of fear, but she focused, breathing deeply and observing the patterns of movement. Rohan moved beside her, carefully testing each step. It's like the stones are alive, he said. We have to think and react at the same time. As they progressed, the platform tilted sharply, forcing them to lean and adjust their balance. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind swept through the canyon, pushing them toward the edge. Myra's heart leaped, but she grabbed a stable section, pulling herself upright. Stay close, she shouted. We can do this together. Rohan nodded and held out his hand. Myra grasped it, and they moved in unison. Each step required coordination, trust, and courage. Fear was a constant companion, but they refused to let it control them. Halfway across, a vision appeared. A narrow section of the platform seemed to crack and fall into the abyss. Myra froze, instinctively stepping back. But then she realized it was an illusion. The platform under her feet remained solid. We can't let fear trick us, she said. We have to see clearly. Focus on what is real. Rohan adjusted his stance. right. Together, we move forward. The platform continued to shift, now rising and falling like waves in a storm. Sections of it rotated, creating narrow pathways that required precision and balance. The air shimmered with energy, and faint whispers seemed to echo from the canyon walls. Myra felt the whispers trying to distract her, playing on fears of falling or failing. She shook her head, blocking them out. Humans survive by thinking and acting, not by giving in to fear, she said quietly. Rohan nodded. And by trusting each other. They carefully navigated the shifting platform. Myra noticed that the energy of the planet seemed to respond to their courage. When they acted together with confidence, the path stabilized slightly. When doubt crept in, the platform shifted more violently. At one point, a section of the platform rose sharply, creating a vertical wall. Myra looked at it, unsure how to climb. Rohan grasped her arm. We jump together. We can do it. They counted silently, then leapt, landing safely on the top. Myra's heart pounded, but a rush of exhilaration followed. We did it, she whispered, smiling. Rohan grinned. Humans are amazing when they don't give up. The platform now narrowed into a series of small stones suspended over the dark abyss. Each step required precision, courage, and trust in one another. Myra led the way, feeling her instincts sharpened by the planet's energy. Halfway across, the platform began to wobble. A shadow passed beneath them, shaped like a massive creature with glowing eyes. Myra froze for a moment, her heart racing. It's just another illusion, she whispered to herself. We face fear, but it cannot control us. She stepped forward, Rohan following closely. Together, they crossed the remaining stones, their confidence growing with each movement. Finally, they reached the end of the platform. The tall creature appeared before them, its eyes glowing softly. You have passed the trial of courage, it said. Humans possess a unique strength. You face fear, danger, and uncertainty with determination and trust. That is why your species can survive in worlds others cannot. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the mastery of it. Myra exhaled, her body tired but her spirit soaring. She looked at Rohan. We did it. We faced fear and didn't give up. Rohan smiled. And we grew stronger because of it. Humans aren't just survivors, we can adapt, fight, and rise to challenges no one expects. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the canyon. Myra and Rohan sat together on the platform's edge, feeling the energy of the planet, their own strength, and the bond between them. The tall creature watched silently. Remember this trial, it said. Fear will appear in many forms. But your courage, determination, and unity will carry you through. Humans have a gift that few other species possess, the ability to rise above fear, to act with clarity, and to endure when others fail. Myra felt pride swell in her chest. Each trial had shown her something new about humans, their minds, their bodies, and now their hearts. Humans could face impossible odds and still find strength, ingenuity, and courage. As the twin suns set, the valley glowed with soft light, reflecting the lessons learned and the promise of growth. Myra and Rohan looked at each other, knowing that the next challenges would test them in ways they could not yet imagine. But for now, they had faced the trial of courage and they had won. The stars appeared above, brighter than any on Earth, and the valley hummed softly, a reminder of the planet's presence and the potential within them. Myra closed her eyes, feeling calm, focused, and ready for what lay ahead. Tomorrow, the trials would continue. Strength, intelligence, and courage had been tested, but the final lessons were still to come. And Myra knew that humans, with their spirit, ingenuity, and courage, would rise to meet every challenge. Morning arrived quietly, with soft beams of light reflecting off the crystal trees. Myra and Rohan had grown stronger with each trial, but they knew that today's challenge would test everything they had learned. body, mind, and courage would all be needed, and the outcome would determine if they were truly ready to survive in this alien world. The tall creature appeared as they prepared to move. "Today, you face the ultimate test," it said. "Every skill, every strength, and every lesson you have gained will be required. The trial will push you to the edge of your limits. Only humans who trust themselves and each other can succeed." Rohan looked at Myra. "We've come this far. I think we're ready." Myra nodded. "We have no choice but to be ready. Let's go." The creature led them to a vast open area, unlike any place they had seen before. The ground glowed faintly beneath their feet, and massive crystal formations rose like towers around them. In the center was a platform surrounded by shifting lights, floating rocks, and currents of wind that moved unpredictably. "This is the arena," the creature explained. "The ultimate test begins when you step forward. You will face physical obstacles, illusions, and moments where fear will challenge every decision. Remember what you have learned. Trust your instincts, your mind, and each other." Myra took a deep breath and stepped forward. Rohan followed closely. Immediately, the ground beneath them began to shift, rising and falling like waves. Floating rocks appeared, creating a maze of moving paths that changed every few seconds. "Move carefully," Myra said. "Every step counts." They began to navigate the shifting ground. Each movement required precision, balance, and focus. Myra felt the energy of the planet guiding her, sharpening her reflexes. Rohan mirrored her movements, their steps coordinated and precise. Suddenly, illusions appeared around them. Shadows of creatures with glowing eyes dashed across the floating platforms. Rocks seemed to fall into the abyss, and the winds grew stronger. Myra felt her heart race, but she remembered the lessons from the previous trials. Illusions could not harm them, they only tested focus. "Ignore it," she said. "Keep moving." They leapt from one floating rock to another, timing each step carefully. The wind tried to push them off balance, but they adapted, leaning, jumping, and running in rhythm with the shifting platforms. Midway through the arena, the ground began to split, creating deep chasms. The platforms moved faster now, rising and falling unpredictably. Myra looked at Rohan. "We need to work together here. One wrong move and we could fall." Rohan nodded. "Trust me." "I trust you." They timed their jumps perfectly, landing safely on the next platforms. The illusionary creatures tried to distract them, creating false platforms and gaps that didn't exist. Myra focused on the subtle energy beneath her feet, sensing which surfaces were real. Rohan did the same, following her lead. As they progressed, they reached a section where the wind formed a strong barrier, nearly knocking them off the path. Myra gritted her teeth and adjusted her stance, using her body's strength and balance to push forward. Rohan reached for her hand, helping her steady. Together, they moved through the barrier, their teamwork stronger than ever. Next came a puzzle of glowing crystals, scattered across floating rocks. Each crystal pulsed in different rhythms, and the wrong touch caused the platforms to shift dangerously. Myra remembered the puzzle from the mind maze. "Follow the rhythm, not the color," she whispered. Rohan nodded and mirrored her steps. They carefully pressed each crystal in sequence, watching the platform stabilize with every correct move. The puzzle completed, and a safe path appeared toward the final section of the arena. Now, they faced the last challenge, a massive chasm with a single, narrow bridge that seemed to sway in impossible ways. The wind howled, and shadows flickered across the bridge, creating illusions of falling and danger. Myra's heart pounded. "This is it," she said quietly. "We've come this far. We can do this." Rohan took her hand. Together, step by step, they crossed the bridge. Each step required full concentration, strength, and courage. The illusions tried to trick them, making the bridge seem longer, more unstable, and even invisible in places. Myra focused on the energy beneath her feet and Rohan's hand in hers, letting instinct guide her movements. Halfway across, a gust of wind threatened to push them off. Myra leaned into it, using her body weight and balance to stabilize. Rohan adjusted his stance, creating stability for both of them. Together, they reached the end of the bridge. On the far side, the platform glowed with a soft golden light. The tall creature appeared, its eyes shining with approval. "You have completed the ultimate test," it said. "You have shown strength, intelligence, courage, and teamwork. Humans have the ability to face impossible odds and rise above them. Your species is capable of surviving, adapting, and thriving where others cannot." Myra and Rohan stood side by side, breathing heavily but smiling. The energy of the planet flowed around them, filling them with a sense of accomplishment and growth. "We did it," Myra said softly. "All the training, all the trials, it was worth it?" Rohan nodded, looking around at the glowing arena. "Humans can handle far more than we thought. This planet has taught us what we are capable of." The tall creature spoke again. "Remember these lessons. Humans survive not because they are the strongest, but because they adapt, learn, and trust themselves and one another. You have unlocked a small part of your potential here. The universe is vast, and your species can rise to meet it wherever you go." Myra felt pride and determination swell inside her. She thought of Earth, of the challenges humans had faced, and realized that humans were more than survivors, they were explorers, thinkers, and fighters capable of greatness. Rohan smiled at her. "I think we've only begun to understand what humans can do." As the twin suns began to set, the valley glowed with shimmering colors. Myra and Rohan stood together, feeling the connection to the planet, the lessons they had learned, and the potential that humans carried within. The ultimate test had pushed them to their limits, but they had risen above. Strength, intelligence, courage, and teamwork had combined to reveal the true power of human resilience. Myra closed her eyes, feeling calm, confident, and ready for whatever lay ahead. She knew that the universe was full of unknown challenges, but humans strong, clever, and brave could face them all. Tomorrow would bring new discoveries and adventures, but for now, they had proven that humans could survive and thrive in a world beyond imagination. And in that glowing valley, Myra felt the quiet satisfaction of knowing that humanity's true potential was only beginning to shine. The valley was quiet in the early morning, bathed in the soft golden light of the rising suns. Myra and Rohan stood at the edge of the crystal plateau, reflecting on everything they had endured. The ultimate test had revealed the strength of their bodies, minds, and hearts, but today would show how far humans could truly rise when faced with the final challenge. The tall creature appeared before them, hovering with calm authority. "You have completed every trial," it said. "Now, the final challenge is not only about skill, courage, or intelligence. It is about purpose. You must demonstrate what it means to be human, how your species survives, adapts, and thrives even in worlds far from home." Myra looked at Rohan. "Purpose. That's what this is about. We've learned to survive, to fight fear, to trust each other. Now we have to show it." Rohan nodded. "Then let's show them who humans are." The creature led them to a vast arena in the center of the valley. The ground was alive with soft energy pulses, and floating platforms hovered in patterns that shifted like living circuits. Across the arena, Myra could see large structures made of crystal, glowing faintly as if holding secrets within. "The challenge is simple," the creature explained. "Navigate the arena, uncover the hidden energy nodes, and restore the balance of this world. You must use every skill you have learned: strength, agility, intelligence, courage, and trust. The arena will test all of these at once." Myra stepped forward, feeling a surge of energy. Her senses were sharper than ever. Every movement, every sound, and every vibration of the ground was clear to her. Rohan followed closely, moving with the same calm focus. The arena immediately reacted to their presence. Floating platforms shifted, creating moving paths that required precision and coordination. Glowing energy nodes appeared, floating above gaps or behind obstacles. Myra knew that each node represented a test they would need to reach it while overcoming illusions, obstacles, and sudden challenges. "Let's split up," Rohan suggested. "We can cover more ground, but stay within sight of each other." Myra nodded. "Agreed. Watch for illusions. Stay focused." They moved quickly and efficiently. Myra leapt from one platform to another, avoiding sudden gaps and shimmering illusions. Her instincts guided her, honed by every trial she had faced. She reached her first energy node, touching it lightly. A pulse of golden light spread through the arena, stabilizing nearby platforms and opening new paths. Rohan reached a node at the other side, activating it with the same care. Together, they could feel the arena responding, recognizing their teamwork and human adaptability. The challenges intensified. Suddenly, shadows of creatures with glowing eyes appeared, attempting to block their paths. Rocks rose and fell unpredictably, and currents of wind tried to throw them off balance. Myra adjusted her steps, timing her jumps perfectly. Rohan mirrored her movements, and their coordination allowed them to move through the obstacles smoothly. At one point, a massive gap appeared between two floating platforms. Myra hesitated for a split second, feeling fear creep in. But she remembered the lessons of courage. "We can do this," she whispered. "Together." Rohan extended his hand. Myra grabbed it, and they leapt across the gap, landing safely. The arena pulsed in response, sending waves of golden energy that stabilized nearby paths. As they progressed, they discovered energy nodes hidden behind puzzles. Glowing crystals blocked access, each requiring observation and logic to unlock. Myra recognized the patterns, remembering the mind maze, and solved the first puzzle. Rohan solved another, using strategy and focus. Together, they activated multiple nodes, spreading energy throughout the arena. The arena responded further, opening a central path leading to the largest structure in the middle. A soft hum filled the air as they approached. The structure seemed alive, reacting to their presence. Myra felt a rush of energy, her mind and body in perfect harmony with the world around her. "We're close," Rohan said. "The final node must be inside that structure." They entered carefully. Inside, the structure shimmered with flowing energy, forming patterns that required coordination and focus. The final node floated in the center, surrounded by shifting platforms and glowing energy fields. Myra looked at Rohan. "We need to do this together." He nodded. "Step by step. Trust each other." They moved in unison, stepping carefully across the platforms. The energy fields tried to distract them, showing visions of failure and doubt. Myra felt her heart race, but she focused on the present, blocking out the illusions. Rohan did the same, matching her pace perfectly. Finally, they reached the central node. Myra touched it lightly, and Rohan followed immediately. A wave of golden light surged through the structure, spreading across the arena. Platforms stabilized, obstacles disappeared, and a calm hum filled the valley. The energy of the planet felt complete, balanced, and alive. The tall creature appeared before them, glowing brighter than ever. "You have done it," it said. "Humans have shown their true potential. You adapt, you endure, you think, and you face fear with courage. You have demonstrated the greatest strength of your species, the ability to rise above every challenge through cooperation, intelligence, and heart. The universe is vast, but humans are capable of thriving anywhere." Myra felt a swell of pride and determination. She thought of Earth, of all the obstacles humanity had overcome, and realized that humans were more than survivors. They were explorers, innovators, and fighters capable of achieving the impossible. Rohan looked at her, smiling. "We did it. We've proven it. Humans can rise to meet anything. Myra nodded, her eyes shining with confidence. Yes. And this is only the beginning. Humans have the courage, strength, and intelligence to face the universe and grow beyond what anyone imagines. The valley hummed softly, responding to their presence. The crystal towers glowed brightly, reflecting the light of the twin suns. Myra and Rohan stood together, feeling the full power of the planet's energy and the strength within themselves. The tall creature spoke once more. Remember this moment. Humans survive not because they are the strongest, but because they adapt, think, and act with courage. You have unlocked your potential here. The universe will present many challenges, but humans, when united and focused, can rise above them all. Myra took a deep breath, feeling calm, confident, and proud. She looked at Rohan. We've learned so much, and we're ready for whatever comes next. Rohan nodded. The universe won't be easy, but humans can face anything. We've seen what we're capable of. As the twin suns set, the valley glowed with vibrant colors, reflecting the energy of the planet and the spirit of humanity. Myra and Rohan looked at the horizon, knowing that they had proven the greatest truth about humans: they could survive, adapt, and thrive anywhere, even in worlds beyond imagination. And in that glowing valley, the humans felt their potential fully awakened, ready to carry their strength, courage, and intelligence into the infinite reaches of the universe. Humanity had risen.